Alrighty then. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Matthew Baker of Beautiful New York Tours. One of the members of the board of the Guides Association of New York City asked me to do a piece about Edith Wharton. And it occurred to me as I looked over the videos I've done so far, it's the first time anyone has asked me to do a video about a novelist. Well, if you're going to do a first one, Edith Wharton is the obvious example. She really captured New York City high society in a way that no one else has, and did it before anyone else really tried. And so she definitely deserves to be looked at in the context of the city, even though in her later life she fled the city for the countryside and ultimately for Europe. Her roots were still very intrinsically New York. She was born in a well-to-do townhouse on West 23rd Street. The building still stands, though it's no longer residential, at least not at ground level. I think it's a fast food place now, but it certainly has history as, very much the hoity-toity New York of the 1860s when she was born. And she was born Edith Jones, and she held the maiden name of Jones for 23 years. And you may be familiar with the popular social saying, keeping up with the Joneses. That was a reference to Edith's family, because they were known not only for being very wealthy, but they were the tastemakers of the city. The Jones family was always on the cutting edge of fashion, of design, of good taste, and of various social advantages. And these were things that young Edith kept herself aware of. It's interesting when you look at her books, and when I say her books, bear in mind, between her travel writing and her poetry and her books on design and her novels and her short stories, Edith Wharton wrote over 40 books. But she is best remembered today for two. The House of Mirth, which is often referred to as the New Yorkiest of all New York novels, and The Age of Innocence, for which in 1921 she became the first woman ever to win the Pulitzer Prize. And in both of these books, and in many of her other less well-remembered ones as well, she really casts a harsh light on the moneyed high society of New York that she grew up in. She recognizes the social, the sexual, the political, the societal strangulation of anyone who did not fit within the cultural norms of the elite New York well-to-do. And the fact that she was one of the elite New York well-to-do gave her an insider's perspective on this. And we didn't really find out until much later, after her death, when various private papers of hers were, unlocked, that she had been extremely critical of her mother, who had really been an unencouraging force in her life. And when she got married, when she went from Edith Jones to Edith Wharton, had a rather upsetting and difficult and unhappy marriage. And ultimately even had an affair with a British journalist that was, very inspiring to her literature. Now, she got married to Teddy Wharton at the Trinity complex, which still exists, only now it's a Serbian Orthodox church. Sadly had a terrible fire recently, but was a beautiful church on the west side. She had been baptized down in Greenwich Village at Grace Church, which of course is one of the glorious houses of worship in the city, designed by James Renwick Jr., who went on to do St. Patrick's Cathedral. So a lot of Wharton's New York still stands, even though, of course, it looks and feels much different from the New York that she wrote about. But there have been scholarly maps designed all about where the characters in Wharton's novels travel in the course of their books, and these maps can easily be followed in a walking tour. So if you are a fan of Edith Wharton's writing and would like to experience her New York once it is safe to do so, please check me out at Beautiful New York Tours. You can search Beautiful New York Tours on Facebook or email me at baker.tours@yahoo.com. Again, that is baker.tours@yahoo. Thank you very much.